chaos and drama surrounded the start of the Santos Tour Down Under. On the second stage, an inspirational ride had Australian fans cheering. He has been in the lead for 146 of the 148 kilometres. That finish line won't come, but he's there now and he's got the victory, and an emotional crowd has cheered him on in. That is an exceptional performance.
It's unbelievable. I just kept going, and I was dying in the last 15 Ks. It's pretty amazing for a breakaway rider like myself to stay away for so long.
But he wasn't the only man celebrating. The ochre jersey will pass to Martin Kohler.
It's very cool. We had this little funny plan. Just go for it. I'm close in the GC. I was third overall before. It's a little bit surprising, but if nobody following me, why not?
Today, against the stunning ocean backdrop, there's sure to be another clash of the sprint superstars. Hello everyone and welcome to the Epic Cycle Series presented by Michelob Ultra. I'm Phil Liggett and joined as always by Paul Sherwin. This is the third stage of the Santos Tour Down Under as we move now from nearby Unley to Victor Harbour, 134 kilometres. The riders enjoying a warm start to the day.
Well, Martin Kohler sounding in there, but Simon Gerrans, the Australian national champion, is a man that many people are talking about as a possible winner of this bike race overall.
Well, one man enjoying his first visit to the Tour Down Under is the race organiser, Christian Prudhomme. And here he is now with Paul Sherwin.
Well, Christian Prudhomme, Directeur Général of the Tour de France, the organiser. What are your first impressions of the Tour Down Under?
People smiling. That's the first impression. Many people and many people smiling. It's like during the tour, with people with their families along the roads, along the circuit. Yesterday we followed one lap of the final circuit with Mike Turter, the race director, and it was very, very nice because of the race, but because of the people. And the difference with the tour is many people are here with their bikes, and that's very, very interesting.
Now, a possible sprinter will win today. First of all, let's have a chat with yesterday's winner, Will Clark, a possible sprinter in Edric Boysenhagen, and the leader, Martin Kohler.
Will, you've had a good night's sleep to put behind you. Now, have you had time to reflect on just exactly what you did yesterday?
Yeah, I think it's sunk in now. Yesterday was a little bit surreal, but yeah, it's a great feeling to get up there in front of such a big crowd and in your home country and such a big race here in Tour Down Under.
Those kind of breakaways very rarely survive, and how did the crowd help you yesterday on the run in towards the finish?
Yeah, it definitely gave me a lot more energy. You know, they were cheering me on, and yeah, I was just going for it. I think they, probably gave me an extra couple of minutes and motivation.
And you've also been very close to the front of this race on a number of occasions. You're looking to try and get yourself a stage victory possibly today?
Have the team, or have a really strong team that can help me, and of course I would like to win a stage, and we will try to do it, but it's not a main goal this race, but of course it's always nice to have a victory when you can.
Well, Martin, interesting tactics by Team BMC over the first couple of days, and they've put you into the ochre jersey.
Yeah, very interesting tactic, and it was not planned like from the first day to have me in the jersey, but yeah, we take every day by day and do the best out of it, and we still have some other cards to play.
Well, let's have a look where he's going to play those cards on this third stage, Paul. He now heads from Unley to Victor Harbour, 134.5 kilometres.
A slightly shorter stage, but the riders will be buffeted by the wind once they go past Aldinga Beach, and then they head themselves right the way down towards the southern part of the peninsula down here, and that's when it really will start to get a little bit grippy once they've gone through Goolwa and inland for the Fluria Peninsula and the dash down to the finish at Victor Harbour.
So no peace for the riders as they leave what is a rather calm part of Adelaide here. We're only about 10 minutes drive from the hotel where they're staying downtown in the city. But very shortly they're going to feel the wind getting up as they make their way out. Now it is a long neutralised section this. It's almost 10 kilometres and I have to wonder why it's such a long way neutralised, because the police do such a great job at closing these roads. It would have been perfectly safe to race all the way today.
I have to say, I reckon Will Clark, the hero of yesterday's stage, probably happy with that 10 kilometres to allow his legs to warm up after what was a very long, successful breakaway yesterday.
Official crowd figures, more than 110,000 people saw the race yesterday, and the day before it was 92,000. So they really are turning on the style here in South Australia for this event. First round of the World Tour Series. It'll all finish at the end of October in Beijing, but right now we're looking here at the field as they swing away from the main highway. They are onto the Southern Expressway now. Now this is an uphill road you may not notice in a motorcar. This looks like an early attack from Gatis Smakoulis, who's on the team Katusha from Russia, although he himself is a Latvian. Now this is typical of professional racing. Riders trying to establish what we always call the early morning breakaway as they start to move clear. This rider here is Romain Le Marchand of AG2R. Well, this expressway is a one-way road actually. It leaves town on this occasion, but they can reverse the flow and bring the cars into town in the rush hour. But it's only a one-way operated road, and thankfully it's the way we're racing today. All together again, looking for the next move, which will surely come here. It's a long, steady drag before we start to go out into open countryside.
Jan Bakelants of Radio Shack Nissan Trek, he's now the man to try and light the blue touch paper of attack.
Anybody coming? Yes, there seems to be one or two. This looks like Thomas de Gent, who for Vacances Soleil, he won the stage of the Tour of Switzerland last year. He's come on and said, yes, I'm out, I'm up for it. Anybody else coming? The sun is on their shoulders at the moment, and this looks like Eduard Vorganov, also of Team Katusha. He's trying to bridge. In fact, one or two trying to get across. And the course here, look how they split the peloton in the wind.
Well, you can see just how long that main field is. That's an indicator of how fast they've come out of the blocks on this morning stage. And certainly they are trying to break the stranglehold of the main field. The second group on the road, they're sitting up a fraction, allowing that three-man group field to start to establish an advantage.
And everybody looking at one another. Nobody yet taking up the chase. And this is so typical of the day, but three riders are making a little bit of progress as they break the elastic and head over the top. The wind is pushing them over left to right as we look at the television pictures here, as they're right onto our left now as we look here, and there's somebody else digging away. He's got the colours of the national champion of Ireland, so it has to be Matthew Bramier from the Amigo Farmer team. Quick Step are part of that squad now as they make their way out. Now Bramier is trying to get up to this one, and that's a good show by the national road race and time trial champion of Ireland.
Well, just having a look here, it's Lotto and Rabobank doing the majority of the pacemaking at the front end of this peloton. They are two very good teams in these kind of weather conditions because they both come from the northern part of Europe, Belgium and Holland. And I tell you what, the wind certainly knows how to blow there, and if you want to learn the art of riding in the wind, those are the countries to go and ride in.
Well, it certainly looks dry from my helicopter, the arid countryside here as we head towards the Fleurier Peninsula just now. It's just 600 metres to go. Now, if Thomas de Gent, third in line, sneaks this and gets the maximum 10 points at the top, he's got a couple of points from day one. He is going to be the next leader in the Skoda King of the Mountains Championship, because the rider who took the lead yesterday is not in the hunt, and that's Will Clark. He's back in the main field just now. So let's see if he's realised that. I have a feeling that must be why he's broken away today.
Yeah, just 43 kilometres covered once they go to the top of this climb at Selix Hill, and for the moment no move at all by de Gent. He's moving himself up into second position. Let's see if he's going to try and attack before we get to the summit of the climb. But what a crowd turning out here.
Absolutely fabulous, and the Belgian has gone too. No reaction from the other three. They've not scored in this competition yet. De Gent has. So in as many days, a new leader in the Skoda King of the Mountains competition, Thomas de Gent. He's a past King of the Mountains winner, by the way, in the Tour of Britain, which is a similar race distance as this one.
Well, very easy here. You can see none of the other riders actually challenging him at all as he accelerates away from Matti Bramme in second position there, the Irish national champion. Maximum points over the top then for Thomas de Gent, and Jan Bakelants from Nissan at Radio Shack getting himself third place.
And Vorganov not showing any interest in the King of the Mountain, so he's trailed over in fourth. The official distance at the moment is 5 minutes back to the big peloton, and there they are, cruising up the mountain with the beautiful blue drop of the Southern Ocean off their right shoulders. Teammates here of Mark Renshaw and Michael Matthews giving it a dig at the front. This is Jos van Emden. He's been over here since the start of the year, so he's been packing in plenty of training miles and anxious to close this gap down.
You also notice in this leading group of four, Phil, there's a little bit of discontent. They're not quite collaborating as they were a fraction ago, and I think that's because they realise they're not getting the big advantage over the main field that they might have expected. In fact, it's been shaved down a fraction more to 2 minutes and 25 seconds as they start to jockey for position for the upcoming sprint, which is just around the corner.
It is, and it looks as though Thomas de Gent is taking the riders to the line here. Now, he got the climb, and he's already got one jersey to wear tomorrow, which is the green-spotted Skoda Mountains jersey. He's not going to share this like we saw yesterday, because he's going for this one. He's being chased by Bakelants and Vorganov. Now, is he strong enough to hold them off? And it looks like he might well be as they come off the bend. Well, that was a very seriously contended sprint here, but I don't think that Bakelants, and he isn't, is going to get up. So de Gent is giving out no presents today.
No, he certainly wants a maximum all along the route here this afternoon. De Gent first across the line there. Bakelants in the black jersey now of Radio Shack Nissan Trek, and in third place you can see Vorganov, the rider from the Russian Katusha squad.
Well, a few points in the bank, but more importantly for those three riders, as they're only 12 seconds behind overall, as Bamir tries something here, they've now pulled back 3, 2 and 1 second in time bonuses, so they've closed up on the overall leader. And I've forgotten to even say we haven't seen him yet, and that's Martin Kohler, who got the jersey yesterday. This is Bramme here. Sitting off that is a really fast part of the course. They're actually hitting speeds here between 90 and 95 kilometers an hour. Now, does that prove up? It does, just touching 90.
Well, there you go. These guys can push these kind of speeds on these descents, and it's amazing to think when you look at the thickness of the tyre that they've got on the road. It really is quite a scary proposition. Bramir just hanging off the back a fraction, and it's Vorganov getting himself into the aerodynamic position there to keep himself as fast as possible.
Into the Powerade hydration station. Grab your bags and keep on going.
Well, these guys have continued to work very well together, Phil, but all of the time the main field has been eating into their advantage. They never allowed it to go more than 5.25 minutes on today's occasion, and the reason for that, I think, is because the sprinters feel that this is possibly the last chance for them to have a little bit of glory before we actually get down into Adelaide.
This is Bakelants. There's the gap, 65 seconds. There's still a chance they'll survive till Goulwa and the Jayco sprint there, which is what I think Thomas de Gent and certainly Bakelants would want, because they'll move right up in the top 5 places in the overall classification. 500 metres from the sprint. They won't get caught before they go here for the Jayco points and also the small time bonuses. Now, can anybody do anything about number 152? I think Thomas de Gent has got himself boxed in.
Well, it looks like he's got himself out of the box there. You can just see in second position, starting to wind up the sprint there, is Bakeland, and he, of course, is for Radio Shack Nissan Trek. Into third place there is Thomas de Gent, but now he's starting to get that turbo whistling.
And look at this, Thomas de Gent, stage winner of the Tour Switzerland last year. He's now really developed as a top bike rider, takes out the points, 3 of them clear just, but the peloton were in sight.
They were just at the back end of that long finishing straight into that Jayco sprint point at Goulwa. I would say it's well less than a 1 minute advantage now. Here, as we look at that sprint once again, you can see a fine, clean pair of wheels for Thomas de Gent, making himself maximum points throughout the whole of this day's racing so far.
The peloton, all led here by Radio Shack, now have got this race very much under control. The crowd cheering the peloton through. There's a sharp right turn, followed by a sharp left turn, and then we go back out into the country as we turn in the direction of Victor Harbour. So the field are now more or less all together. They're about to snap at the heels of these three. One man is still missing, and that's Matt Bremier. It's a last-ditch effort by the Irishman, Paul. He's not going to stay away.
Well, he's only got about 25 seconds advantage over the front end of a charging main field, Phil, and they are really licking their lips now because the sprinters do know they've got a chance to win. And I think one of the famous sea lions has come out to see the show.
You could say he was on the roll down there, and I think the riders are now as they line up for this sprint. The blue waters of the Southern Ocean here as the riders now will come charging in to Victor Harbour. It's been a very, very often finished town for this race, and right now it looks like it's going to be the sprinters again. Luis Leon Sanchez looking for his team, doing a great job here. A former winner of this race, but playing the perfect helper right now. We are 3 kilometres out.
Quick note there, Matti Bremier was in the breakaway for a long time this afternoon at the back end of the pack. But I tell you one thing, Phil, we are really at top speed now. Riders taking all kinds of risks because there's a lot of gravel over to the left-hand side of the road. But they know they need to be in the first 3 or 4 positions once they get to the chicanes.
And it's the wind that's keeping them pinned over there. But now the Lotto team, and that's an ominous warning because that's the team of Andre Greipel who won the opening day. Just checking where he is. It looked could have been Adam Hansen looking around over his shoulder. This is the first of 2 roundabouts. 1 or 2 riders off the road there. They bounce back onto it, but they look as though they're all safely round, and Lotto have got control of the front.
Winding it up, keeping the pace nice and high. The reason for that is they don't want the confusion of other riders coming around the outside and balking and closing the door on their sprinter. I can't actually see Andre Greipel for the moment, but now neither can his teammates.
And remember that this team has lost Jürgen Rollens, who is a main lead-out rider for this squad as well, out with a broken vertebrae.
Well, that's Robbie Hunter as well, the South African, coming to the front from Buck Garmin Barracuda. He also is looking over his shoulder. Where is my sprinter here this afternoon? He's looking for Heinrich Hausler.
Yes, and he sat up because he simply saw he was nowhere near, and he wasn't going to lead out the likes of Michael Matthews here. Talking to Michaels, this is Michael Rogers now on the front for Team Sky. They are desperate for a win. Behind him is Matty Heyman.
And now a little bit further back, you'll have Edouard Bozenhagen. Look at those shoulders touching. You've got to use shoulders. You've got to use every means you can to stay at the front end of a main field like this. But on this occasion now, control of the pack goes over to Team Sky. And what about CJ Sutton trying to get himself the victory?
Another hazard safely negotiated. I think we've still got one more roundabout to get around yet, and Sky have got themselves at the front. They try daily to get the victories here. They've got the whole team up there now. The man they're trying to bring up for the line is the smaller at the back, and that is Edvald Boysen-Hagen, Eddie the boss, and he is now in a perfect lead-out position with 1 kilometre to go.
Well, watch out for the Radio Shack Nissan Trek rider up there as well, because that's Daniele Bernati, and it's now being handed over to Matty Heyman. He's got to get them into the final few chicanes. He will swing off then and leave it up to the last 2 sprinters, and hopefully he will propulse Bozenhagen into the victory.
There are probably no more than 20 riders in this race now as we make the right sweep, quickly followed by a left sweep as we look at the picture here. As they turn up now, it is a wonderful piece of lead-out riding by tall Matthew Heyman. There's the left turn, and now it is a straight road up to the finish. Well, not quite. Slight bend in the middle, but nothing more dangerous. Michael Matthews, Mark Renshaw is the orange jersey for Rabobank, as they now got Boysen-Hagen in 4th wheel in a perfect position. Renshaw goes on his shoulder. Tremendous turn of speed for the line now. If they can see the finishing line now, and this looks as though Renshaw has got himself right on the front here, and a good turn of speed, and it looks to me as though Sky haven't got the legs, but watch out, because coming through the middle I saw number 11. He's bursting on the right. Andre Greipel is going to get this. He's taking on Hutrovic, and I think he's got it by the skin of his racing tyre.
Well, that was a well-timed sprint there by Andre Greipel. He knew exactly when he needed to force that acceleration coming to the front, but just look how far back he was. Bozenhagen starts to go there. He gets himself into the slipstream of Mark Renshaw, but then all of a sudden, wait till the gears start to kick in. You've got the threat over there, the lime green, that's Robbie McEwen, but look, coming straight through the middle, Andre Greipel it is.
Incredible turn of speed. Andre Greipel is learning to sprint so well now. He's free of Mark Cavendish in his 2nd year without the man he used to race alongside, and this is his 13th win since he left Mark Cavendish's side, and his 3rd since he came to Australia. And if we're talking records, he now has 10 historical victories in this event, 2 short of McEwen's record. That is something. That was a great sprint, and a super crowd has witnessed the return of Greipel, because that win will also move him back into the overall lead. He's delighted with that, especially as once again he's beaten his arch rivals Hutrovic, and Eddie Boysenhagen is the rider there in third place. Renshaw crossing the line just behind in fourth. The Lotto team without Roland have done well. Let's hear now from Andre Greipel.
This was for Jürgen. He's in hospital, and yeah, we wanted to win today, and the team was awesome again. We are nearly 3 riders down, but the guys rode their ass off again today and kept me in a good position for the sprint.
They certainly did that. Let's have a look at the stage result first. Andre Greipel winning, everybody in the same time, 121 riders in the same time. Hutrovic, Boysenhagen, Renshaw, Robbie McEwen, the top 5 places. But for Andre Greipel, after 3 days of the Santos Tour Down Under, he's won 2 of them, and the crowd appreciating a really exciting finish, and the lucky one gets the flowers. Well, let's remind ourselves as to what happened during the day on this third stage between Unley and Victor Harbour. 134 kilometres. Thomas de Gent taking out the sprints that mattered along the way at Mount Compass in a Jayco sprint, and then again at Goulwa, picking up 6 seconds in time bonuses, so he's moving right up the overall classification. He did enough too to take the lead in the King of the Mountains, but when it came down to the sprint that mattered, it was Greipel taking it out and the small time bonus returning him to the top, and that's confirmed here. 8 seconds he now leads the deposed leader Martin Kohler of BMC. Matthews holds on to third place, and de Gent comes up into fourth place overall. So that long day out front in the saddle was worth it in the end for Thomas de Gent of Belgium. That wraps it up now for Stage 3, but be sure to tune in to our coverage of Stage 4 tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And that's right here on the Epic Cycle Series presented by Michelob Ultra. For the full cycling schedule, log on to our website at nbcsports.com. For Paul Sherwin, I'm Phil Liggett saying so long for now.